Good morning and welcome to the Forex Daily Update, brought to you by Pepperstone on Friday the 24th of August 2018. I'm Darren Sinden and you can follow me throughout the day on Twitter by using @ds_Pepperstone. Right, let's take a look at the overnight changes and price moves to be aware of. Just before we do that though, let me remind viewers that it's a bank holiday here in the UK on Monday, so there won't be a Forex Daily Update on Monday, but we will be back with you on Tuesday morning. Okay, well let's take a look at those movers. The euro pushing back against the US dollar, up by 0.25% yesterday, back to 115.66 shortly before we recorded the video. The Aussie dollar also noticeably bouncing, up by 0.55%. Against its US counterpart to trade at 72.83 shortly before we recorded the video, and we'll have a look at the reasons behind that move momentarily. Dollar index for its part trading around 95.52, a smidgen easier overnight, down 0.15% at 95.52, and the South African rand also making gains or modest gains against the US dollar, taking back 0.26% to trade at 14.35.32. Okay, well, what's on the calendar? Events that may move the markets today. First of all, let's just remind everybody that we have the ongoing Jackson Hole Symposium of Central Bankers in that lovely part of Wyoming in the USA. To come at 6 a.m. GMT, we will have gross domestic product for Q2 out of Germany. This comes obviously after the PMI data seen yesterday across the Eurozone, so another look, really, if you will, at the health of the Eurozone economy, or at least its engine, the German economy. Then at 8:30, we switch to the UK for the British Bankers Association mortgage approvals data for the month of July. And then we have a 4-hour gap, chance to cross the Atlantic to the USA. And at 12:30, we'll have durable goods orders for July. That's both including and transportation. At 1400, then, the highlight of the day, Jerome Powell, the Fed Chair's speech at the Jackson Hole Symposium. Obviously, Mr. Powell very much in focus after the criticisms levied at him by President Trump. And then at 1700, we shall have the weekly Baker Hughes US oil rig count, an influential look at the number of oil rigs active in the USA. It was unchanged last week effectively. So it will be interesting to see what happens this week. And then at 19:30, if you're still in the market, the weekly release of the Commitment of Traders report from the CFTC across major currencies and other futures contracts. Right then, breaking news and comment that's caught my eye overnight. And first of all, Liberal Party Treasurer Scott Morrison defeats Malcolm Turnbull to become party leader and the likely new Prime Minister of Australia, and hence the rise in the Australian dollar as the political uncertainty comes to a close in Canberra, at least for now. Meanwhile, the Hong Kong Markets Authority moves to defend the Hong Kong dollar, which had slipped below 7.85 to its US counterpart, says the FT, and at the same time, the People's Bank of China added extra liquidity to the mainland Chinese monetary system. So, China moving to shore up its currency and add liquidity to its money markets effectively there. Meanwhile, New Zealand balance of trade data show booming imports up by 21.3% and exports that rose by 15.8% in July. But overall, the trade balance swung to a deficit for the second month in a row, and quite a big turnaround really in terms of what the position was this time last year, with a significant surplus, in fact, for the month of July. So positive news in some respects for New Zealand, but it won't want to be running a trade deficit indefinitely, I think it's fair to say. Okay then, food for thought and something to take away with you into the trading day and beyond, and why not think about this? The US 500 index has failed to recapture Tuesday's new record high and in fact closed down on the day last night. Most sectors finished lower, but technology stocks were up on the day, and you can see the stark contrast here with technologies and a few value-orientated stocks making gains, whereas sectors like materials, energies and financials are all relatively sharply down on the day. I think it's very interesting to see that there's still demand for technology stocks, and even on a weekday in an uncertain market, there are plenty of buyers around for those stocks it would still seem. So, it just remains for me to talk you through the risk warning. Please take a moment to read this. Trading CFDs and foreign exchange on margin can be a risky business. If you're unclear about the risks involved or the suitability of leverage products for you, then please do contact your Pepperstone account representative and do take the time to read this risk warning carefully. Thank you very much for your time. Have a good weekend. See you on Tuesday.